Good evening all. Am I audible? Is my screen visible? Good evening guys. Dear participants, can you please confirm so that we can start the class today? So today is day 2 of this data science virtual internship. Okay guys, we'll start with the session. Thanks for confirming. So I welcome you all once again for this class. So let's start, and remember guys, what all things we have seen in yesterday's class, what all topics we have covered. We are seeing about pandas, right? So today we'll complete pandas, and if time permits we'll try to do one exploratory data analysis with pandas in a real world data set. Okay, so that's what the plan today. So we'll start. We'll continue with pandas. Okay, can we continue guys? Can I get thumbs up in chat box? So we'll start with pandas. So we have seen about series, data frame and those operations, okay, what are things we can do. Now we'll see how to slice a series, okay. So what is a series? Series is a single column, right? It is like a single column. So if you are having a series, how will you going to slice it? So slicing is like, if you want the element which is present in the 0th index, you can get it like, okay, you can mention it inside square bracket. Or if you want in between a range, it is like slicing a string, okay, it's the same. So if you want between a range, you can mention like 1:4, which means it will start from 1 and end till 3, right? In Python, when you slice, the ending index one step before it will end, right? So in that case, it is going to slice. And if you want to take multiple things, for example, the element which is present in the first index and then second and then fourth, you can mention it inside another square bracket so that it can take all those things which you mentioned, okay? So we'll try to take a series. We'll try to take and do the slicing now. So this is the notebook which we are using yesterday. So this data set is a diabetes data set, right? And see here, I'm going to take only one column. Dot head. First, let me show you once again what are the columns present. We'll see the glimpse, and these are the column names. So if I select only one column, data set of age, okay? So this is going to be a series because it is a single column, okay? You can even check the type of it. I'll print type of this single column, which will be pandas series, okay? It belongs to pandas series. Now what I'm going to do, in this single column, if I run this, I'll be getting all the things. So if I want the thing which is present in the 0th index, I can go and mention like this. If I run this, see here, I got 50. How I got it is from the 0th index. If I go with 6th index, it will give that value actually, okay? 26 is present in the 6th index. So I'll show you here. If I want the second index, the age column, it is 32, right? So if I mention 2 here, it should be giving 32. I get it, right? So now if you want to take a range from 2 till 6, so if I mention 7, it will give till 6. If I run this, it is going to take from 2 till 6. See here, it is similar to a string or list or tuple slicing. We have done that, right, in Python. So in that case, you can slice it. Or if you want multiple things, I'll go with data set, okay? In that, the age column, and in that, if I want multiple things, for example, if I want the something which is present in the 0th and then 4th and then 10th, if I run this, it is going to give me that alone, okay? The 0th, the 4th index and 10th index. So this is how you can slice a series. When you go for data frame, next will be how will you slice or take something which is present that particular alone from a data frame. So there are two options for you, okay? Please listen carefully. First I'll tell you how to locate it, and then I'll tell you how to slice it. Okay, so once you know this option, then you can go with slicing. It's same. You just need to use colon and mention the starting and ending index. There are two options which is known as locate and index locate. So what is this locate option? Locate is like if you are having some index, right? Okay, and if you want the index to be find 5, okay, there will be 5 present somewhere in the index. So if you want to locate the 5, you can go with dataset dot locate 5. So this is going to actually search where 5 is, and it will take that and give you the result. And there is another option. What is this iloc, which is nothing but index location. So this is for index number. In some case the index number or it may change. Okay, so instead of 0, 1, 2, 3, there may be some other things. For example, A, B, C, D if it is present. If you want to take something present in the 5th index, then you cannot go with locate, because in locate if it is A, B, C, D, you want to mention whether it is A or B or C or D which you want. If you want to go with index, in that case you can go with dot iloc. And if you mention number 5, it is going to search the index number 5, okay, from start. It will start from 0, right? In Python, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will take that and give you the result. We'll try to do this. And in this data set, it is the index and the given index both are 0, 1, 2, 3. So you cannot see actual difference here. So later on, we'll see how to set an index. In that case, I'll tell you what is the difference actually in locate and index locate, okay? So for this, let me call this data set. This is a data frame slicing dot locate. So I'm going to locate the number 2, okay. So see here in number 2, it is the pregnancy level is 8, the glucose is 183. So this locate will actually search where the 2 is present. If you go for index location, it will start from 0, and if you mention 2, it will take 0, 1, 2. So this will be the second index. So it will give that second index based on the index searching. And locating is actually giving the name of the index which you have, okay. This is what the difference between both. So later on we will see how to set index, okay. So I'll be setting some different index here. In that situation, I'll tell you some actual difference so that you can visually see it, okay. And if you want to slice it, you can go with mentioning the starting and ending index. It is going to obviously slice it and give you. So for example, in locate, if I want to get from 2 till 9, so I can go with this one. If I mention 10 here, it is going to take from 2 till 10, okay. So it is not slicing, it is locating, so it is giving till 10. So you will see how to create a new column now. Is it clear till now? Can we go with creating a new column, guys? So how will you select a column? Actually, how will you select a column? You will call the name of the data set, and inside square bracket you will be passing the column name, right? So similarly, if you are giving some new name like this, so I am calling the name of the data set, and inside I am passing a new column which is not present, the name. So it will actually create a new column for you, and inside of it you can set a value. For example, if I set this to 1, it is going to 1 in all the places. So I can show you actually. So I will call this data set. Okay, I'll give a new column in the name new itself. New is equal to 1. So I'll run this. Okay, so if I go and search for dataset.head, I should have some new column in the name new. Okay, and we got a new column, and it is 1. All it will be 1% because I have given 1 here. Okay, I just passed 1, so it is 1 everywhere. So actually I can manipulate also. For example, if I want to take this column and copy and paste it in this one, in the name new, okay, I can go like this one. So this will create a new column, and I am going to set dataset, and inside I will pass this column, the name of it. I'll run it. So this values is copied and pasted here. So if I go with head, you can find in this new, okay, the values which is present here is present there. See here 0.627, 0.627, 0.351, 0.351, and so on. I can even do manipulation and store also. For example, I am taking this column and I am multiplying it with 100. Okay, see here I am multiplying it with 100 and I am storing it in this column. So if I run this, I'll see the head. So you can see it is 0.627, it is multiplied by 100, the value is given here 62.7. Similarly, in all the columns you can check it is multiplied by 100 and stored there. Clear? How we are creating a new column and storing the values there? Is it clear, guys? So now we have seen how to create a new column. So next step will be how to delete an existing column or existing row. So for example, if you want to drop the column, there are two things you have to understand. Okay, you can use the drop option, dataset dot drop, and inside I am passing the column names inside square bracket what all the columns I am going to drop. For example, if I want to drop age or outcome column, age and outcome column, so age comma outcome I have to mention. But deleting the row also, it is also using the drop option. But how will you specifically mention? Okay, ask it to tell it to do drop a column, drop a row. How will you tell that? So there comes this one, axis. If you want to delete a column or any column wise operation, you have to go with axis as 1. Please remember guys, we will be using it in many places. If it is axis is equal to 1, it is going to do column wise action and it is going to search for these columns and delete that column entirely from top to bottom. If you are going to delete row, it is going to, you have to mention axis as 0. 0 is for row and 1 is for column. Clear? Okay, so we have to mention, with that case it will do either column wise action or row wise action. Axis has 1, so it is like straight, right? So imagine this is a column wise action. So if you want to perform column wise action, you have to mention axis as 1. And if you want to perform row wise action, you have to mention axis as 0. And there is some other thing here, in place equal to true. So what is this? What can you do in place equal to true? Why it is present? Okay. So I'll tell you, you are calling this variable dataset and you are performing this operation. But if you don't mention this in place equal to true, when you see the head, okay, if you call this dataset.head, once you run this, you will still find this row or column. Okay, whatever you are deleting, you can still find the row or column. If you want to change the parent dataset entirely, you can mention in place equal to true so that this will be changed entirely. Or if you don't mention, then what is the use? If you want to create a new variable and store this dataset where you have dropped those, then you don't have to mention in place equal to true. If you want to see the changes here in this dataset itself, then you have to mention in place equal to true. So I'll show you with example so that it will be clear for you. Dataset.drop, okay, and inside I'm going to mention, see here, I'll mention these columns, insulin, for example I am giving, and then I'm going to drop another column which is BMI. Okay, so it is column wise action. So what can be the axis, whether it is 0 or 1? Tell me guys in chat box. Is it 0 or 1? What I have to mention? It is 1, right, since it is a column wise action. Now I am not mentioning in place. So if I run this, see here it is giving me the output here. So there is no insulin or BMI column here. It is removed from this dataset. But if I go and check with dataset.head, so I am doing the operation here, but I can still find the insulin BMI here. Why? Because I am not mentioning in place equal to true. So if you want to do this operation and store it in some other variable, for example x is equal to this one. Now I don't want to mention in place equal to true because this operation is stored in x. So if I go and visit the x, it is a data frame where insulin and BMI won't present. Other than that, all the data set is present. See here, there is no insulin and BMI. Instead, if I want to change this variable dataset itself, okay, if I want to use the head option and I don't want that things, insulin and BMI here, then what I have to do, comma, in place is equal to true. So if I mention that this one, it is going to change this variable dataset itself. So if I go with head, I cannot find the columns, okay, that will be removed entirely. See here, there is no insulin and BMI. Clear guys, why we are using in place equal to true and when to use it? Is it clear? It is very important, this in place equal to true. If you want to create a new variable and store the changes, then you can go without in place equal to true. And if you want to change the original one, then you have to mention in place equal to true, then only you can see the result. Okay? Clear guys? So next we'll be dropping the rows. So if I want to drop some rows, for example, I drop this 0 and 2. So how can I do it? I can go with the dataset.drop and inside square bracket I have to pass the index numbers 0 and 2, comma axis, which is the axis here, it is 0, right? and let me set in place equal to true. Okay, so we'll go with dataset.head. It's running. See here, there is no 0 and second index because that rows have been removed entirely. Okay, 0 row wise action, that entire row is removed. I hope you can see the result. Clear? How to remove rows, how to create a column, how to delete a column, how to delete row. And next will be how to rename some columns. Okay, if you want to rename some columns, you can do it with dataset.rename, and inside bracket you have to pass this columns equal to. Okay, so in place equal to false is like you don't have to mention in place. Okay, if you don't mention in place, that is same as in place equal to false. If you want to set that in place, then you have to mention true. So if you do that false, it is going to show you the same result. It is like if you haven't mentioned in place, that's the same result. Okay, you can try it on your own, it will be same. If you mention true only, then only it will show the result in that sense. And to rename, inside bracket let me pass columns equal to, okay, and inside I have to pass a dictionary where this will be the old column name and the key. Okay, key is the old column name and the value is the new column name which you are going to give. So if you want to do multiple things, you can pass many key and value pairs. So this will actually rename the columns. See here, so this is very big, right? Diabetes pedigree function. Let me rename this to DPF. Okay, so and we'll rename this blood pressure as BP. So let me go with dataset.rename. So inside what I have to do, I have to call the columns is equal to, I have to create a dictionary here. So let me pass this BP here. Okay, so this BP, I am going to give a new name which is BP. Blood pressure, instead of blood pressure, I am going to pass BP. And then comma for this diabetes pedigree function, comma, let me pass DPF in short form. Okay, so here it is colon, I'm sorry. And I hope we need to mention in place equal to true. Okay, now it ran. So if I go with head option, see here, these are the old names. Now if I run this again, I should get the result. See here, it is changed to BP and this changed to DPF. If you want to mention multiple, if you want to change others, you can go with comma, okay, and other things also. Clear? Clear, guys? So next will be how to combine two data sets. So I told you, right, we are going to solve a real problem in the end of the class. So where I'll show you practically, because we are having 10 data sets separately, we are like 10 CSV file and we are going to combine all the 10 into a single file. So how will you do that? You have to use this pd.concat. Okay, in Pandas you have this option concat, which is for combining data sets. If you have different data frame, you can actually combine it. Okay, and inside you want to pass which all the data you are going to combine. So I am passing this data set and new data set. And how are you going to combine? Whether you want to add, for example, if you are having 100 rows in one data set and another 200 rows in another data set, if you want to combine the rows into 300, then you can go with axis as 0. Or instead, in one data set you are having 5 columns and in another data set you are having another 5 columns. You want to combine these into 10 columns, then you want to go with axis as 1. So in that case, if you are getting any issues with the index, because the index will be changed, right? This one, the first data set will give one index and the second data set will already again start from 0. So there will be some clubbing issues. So in that sense, you can mention ignore underscore index equal to true. So we'll see this when we do that problem. Okay, please remember pd.concat and inside square bracket you have to pass what all things you are going to combine. And next will be creating new index. Now we are going to set a new index. So I told you right earlier, I'll tell you how to locate, use the locate and index locate practically. So I'll show you here, because here what we are going to do, we are calling the data set and we are asking it to set the index. So we are actually changing the index and we are setting it to a new one. Okay, so for this let me load another data set. See here, let me load a Titanic data set we are having. So for different problems I will be using different data sets so that you can actually understand what is happening behind. Finally we will use one data set and do some problems, okay. In the end, Titanic is equal to pd dot, what is the command to load a CSV file? Read underscore CSV, copy path, okay, I'll paste it here, Titanic dot head, okay. Okay, these are the column names I'm having. So I'm having all these things. So what I'm going to do, the index is 0, 1, 2, 3 only. But I want to take the name column and I want to set that as the index. So imagine, for each name we'll be having that column, right? So it will be furthermore like visible and neat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the index. How can I do it? How can I set the index? Dataset dot, okay, this is Titanic. So Titanic dot set underscore index, and inside I have to pass which column? In the Titanic I'm going to take the name column and I'm setting that to index, okay. In place equal to true, I'll change it entirely, okay. It is done. So we'll visualize it. Titanic dot head. See here, instead of column I'm having the name actually, okay. So all the name is now given as the index, okay, and now we are having that respective things inside. So now I'll show you the locate option. So what is locate? To actually find the specific value, right? So if I want to find this index, I want to locate this place, okay. So what I can do, I can go with Titanic.locate and I'm going to locate this name. If I run this, see here, it is searching for that name and giving me that entire column, okay. This is how you can use locate option. If I go with index locate, it is going to show me error because here in index locate I can pass the number only. For example, if I want to someone present in the third index, so it will go from 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is this name, okay. I hope you can find it here, same, right? This is what the difference between locate and index locate is, and this is how you can set, okay, new index. Clear? Clear, guys? Is it clear? Can we move on to next one? So we are going to see some things here. So first one will be copy. So if you want to copy a data set, which is a different one, okay. So if you want to take a copy of it, so it will be stored in a different variable and it will be act as a different data frame. So if you want to do that, you can go and create a variable and call the dataset dot copy. So it will actually create a copy for you, okay. It will be a new data frame stored in that variable. Titanic2 equal to Titanic dot copy, okay. Now Titanic2 will be a new data frame, so whatever you are doing in Titanic won't be affecting the Titanic2, and the 2, whatever you are doing the change, it won't be affected in the original one, okay. Clear? So next we are going to see 3 things. Please listen carefully, guys. The first one will be dot map, okay, and the second one will be dot apply, and the third one will be dot apply map. So there are 3 things, so you have to understand when you are going to use it. I'll show you the example here. So if you are going to use the map option, it is only applicable, okay, if you want to do it in a Pandas series, which means it is a single column. If you want to apply some operations there, you can use the dot map, which is actually used for encoding in many places, okay. I'll show you the example here. Okay, so here I'm having this gender sex, right? So it is male and female. So now what I'm going to do, I can take that single column, Titanic, in that this column, okay. So once I select that column, what I'm going to do, dot map, okay. So if you are using this map option, then you can pass a dictionary inside. What is the old value, what is the new value? So for male, I'll give 0, and for female, wherever it is present, I'll give 1, okay. So if I run this, so I can take it and store it in that column itself, okay. So I'm taking it, mapping it, changing it and storing it in that itself. So if I run this, so I'll go with Titanic.head. Since we are selecting a single column and applying that operation, this one is done. Okay, see here it is 0, 1, 0 because it is male and female is now encoded. Okay, see here, so since I given small one, it has created a new column itself. So if I give it capital 1, it will actually replace this one here. Okay, see here, this got changed now. So this is how you can use a single column operation. You can go with the dot map. And if you are going with row wise or column wise or over the entire data frame, okay, if you are going with the entire data frame, then you can go with apply and apply map. So what is the difference and when to use it? Is it clear till now regarding map? Can I get thumbs up, guys, so that we can continue with the next one? Clear? So first I'll teach you the apply. So what this will do is it will take the entire column, okay, it will apply for the entire one, okay, either column or row, it will do entirely. So if you are going with apply, I'll show you how. In the Titanic data set, okay, I am taking multiple columns. For example, I'll take the age. Okay, instead I'll see what are the column names. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some other column which is passenger class, okay, this one, comma, name. So I'll use the apply option now. So for this, sorry, this one, okay, I'll apply length. So if I run this, see here, the total length, it is 891. It is doing the entire column, okay, it is taking the entire column and applying the length option, and it is giving me the entire value, okay. So if I do the same width, okay, if I want to perform the same width, apply map, the next one. So apply will do entirely, but apply map will go and take the single element, okay. If you are passing the entire thing, multiple things, it will go and take the single element, do that operation and replace in that same place itself. So it will give you actually table, okay. So if you are passing 10 things, it will be 10 column, sorry, 10 row actually present. So what I'll be doing, Titanic, in this, I'll pass the same passenger class, comma, name, okay. In this too, I'm going to apply map and I'll pass the length. So I hope there will be some error here because we have to pass another thing. So since you are doing it individually, you have to pass, you have to convert it as type string, okay. I'm converting it into a string and doing this, and see here we got some passenger class and name, and it is giving me the length actually. So the apply map will go and take individual element and do the operation and place it there itself. But if you go with apply, it will take the entire column and do that operation and give you the result. So based on the requirement, you have to do this map. If it is a single column, if it is multiple columns like a data frame, you have to go with apply or apply map based on your requirement, okay. Clear? And next will be, there is something known as aggregate. So what is this aggregate is? Okay. So this aggregate will help you to apply many things. So if you want to find something like mean or median, or if you want to perform multiple things or sum, for example, okay, you can pass it as a list using this aggregate option. So it will do all the things and give you the result. So I can go like for the age column, we'll call it Titanic, right? Titanic age column dot aggregate, okay. And inside I'm going to pass a list. So I want to find mean, comma, median, okay. So it will perform the two and give you the result. So if you want to perform multiple things, you can go with this aggregate. Clear? So next one will be group by. So what is this group by is? It is used to group the data actually. So if you want to group the data for based on a particular column, you can go with this one. So this is little bit complex and we are going to use it in many places. So please listen. You can call the name of the data set and you can apply this group by. So it is going to actually take the column which you are mentioning. So I am taking this passenger class. And with this, instead you cannot leave it like you can group it, but you want to compare with other column. Okay, so what you can do, you can go with, so I'm selecting other column, like for example I'm going to use the passenger class to group by with fare, and I'm taking the median value. I'll show you here. Titanic, and in this I'll go with age. Okay, so let me group by. I'll use group by, and I'll group by with passenger class. Okay, and in this I'm going to take the fare option. Okay, there is a fare, so based on the passenger class I'm going to calculate the fare amount. Okay, so I want to perform some operation like median, so let me get the median value. See here, this is the passenger class. I am grouping by, okay, it is 1, 2 and 3 present in this passenger class. So there are 3 passenger class, 1, 2 and 3, and it is grouping the fare actually and taking the median value, which means if the passenger class is 1, it is going to take all the value in the fare column, and it is taking the median value. What is the median value? The center value, right? And if it is grouping by 2, so it is going to take the passenger class where it is 2 and taking the fare where the passenger class is 2 and finding the median value. So similarly it is doing the same. So this is how you can use the group by option. Clear? Clear guys? So I'll show you practically. When we see that, it will be furthermore helpful for you to understand. And next one will be is in. There is an option something known as is in. Okay, so what is this is in? So it is used to filter based on the specific element you want to find. So for example, in passenger class we have found 1, 2 and 3, right? In passenger class there are 3 things. It is first passenger, second and third class. So I'm using that passenger class, selecting that single column and going with is in, and I'm passing the value 3, and I'm passing it as a inside square bracket and going with this data set. So what will happen is, okay, I'll show you practically. In Titanic, in passenger class, okay, dot is in, okay, I'll pass the value 3. So if I run this, it is giving me wherever it is present, true and false. So I can pass it like in the Titanic data set, I can pass it like this one, okay, inside this as a condition. So based on wherever it is true, it is going to give me the result. See here, and what will happen is, I am mentioning 3 here, right, in passenger class. So it is giving me a result where the passenger class is only 3. You cannot find other values, okay. Wherever the passenger class is 3, it is giving me in that data set, okay. So you can go with other things also. For example, if you want to find all the male candidates, okay, so I'll mention in this column, okay, so it is 0 we have given, right? So I am taking that alone. See here, it will be only 0 because I am taking all the male candidates which I have given, okay. So using the isIn can be used as a filter, and you can pass it here. So this will give you boolean, true or false. So wherever it is true, it is going to show you the result like this. And there is another option which is known as get underscore dummies. So this is used for encoding the values, okay. So when you go for advanced things, you can go with sklearn for this operation, but you can do it with pandas also using get underscore dummies. Can we see that, guys? So we'll go with the data set once again, Titanic.head, and see here what all the column names. In the embarked we are having something, right? So I want to find what are the unique values, how many times present. What I can do, I can call the Titanic in that embark, okay, dot value underscore counts, right? So it seems like this embarked is nothing but the station where they have boarded, okay. So it is like Southampton, Queensburg and 3 names, and it seems like S is 644 times, C is 168 times and Q is 77 times. So I'm going to encode these values with zeros and 1. This is like one hot encoding where it will do binary encoding, okay. So how to do it? I'll create a variable result equal to pd dot get underscore dummies, and I can pass this column Titanic in that embarked station. Okay, I'll run this. So if I print the result, see here it is giving me, so this is the index which you have set, so it is giving me the name also because it is the index actually, otherwise it will be 0, 1. And see here how it has encoded, it has created three columns, okay, C, Q and S. If S is present, it is going to give 0, 0, 1, which means S is present. If C is present, it is going to 1, 0, 0 in that sense, okay. It is doing the binary encoding in zeros and ones by creating that much number of columns. So next will be, if you are doing some pre-processing and if you want to, like you have completed it but you want to save it as a CSV file, how will you do that with Pandas? So it is very easy. You can go with the dataset.to_CSV. Read_CSV is for reading a CSV file. To_CSV is for converting that, okay. It is not PD, it is dataset, the variable where you are stored, .to_CSV. And inside you have to pass the name along with the extension. For example, if you want to want in the name output.csv, okay, you can give that, it is going to give you that actually. So now for example, if I want to save this Titanic dataset, Titanic.to_CSV, output.csv, it ran. So where I can find, if you are using your system ID, then you can find it in the same directory. If you are using collab like me, you can go with this files. See here there is output came just now, right? If you don't have, you can refresh it, it will come. You can actually download this, like click this and click the download option, it will download it. Okay, it will ask the location, you can save the CSV file manually. Clear? And next will be data pre-processing. Can we start, guys? The data pre-processing. So what is data pre-processing? Which means cleaning the unwanted or improper data in your data set. So some advanced things are present in scikit-learn, that is another library. We'll be seeing that in when we see about machine learning. Okay, here we'll see some basic things which you can do with Pandas. So this will help you to improve the accuracy by checking for missing value, how to like deal with it, how to check for duplicates. Okay, if the data is irrelevant, how to take it. Okay. So how will you check for null value? So if you want to check for null value, then you can go with the variable dataset.isNull.sum. Okay, you can go with dataset.isNull, okay, .sum. So I'll go you step by step. I'll go with Titanic.isNull. So I'll pass this isNull alone. So if I run this, it is giving me a boolean of false, false, true, and something is true here because it means there is actually a null value. Here true, which means null value is present, but other things are false, which means there is no null value in that place. But can you go and search for all these 8, 9 rows and columns? You cannot do it, right? So I'm going to just sum it using .sum here. And see here, if it is 0, which means there is no null value here, and in age column there is 177 null values, in cabin column there is 687 null value, and in embarked there is 2 null values present. So this is how you can check for null value. Okay, clear, guys? How to check for null value? If you want to go with a single column and check it, you can pass it like a single column and it will actually give you p class. It is 0 for that single column. Okay, now we have find some null values. So how are you going to handle it? You have to do something. Okay, there are two options which you can do. First one will be imputation, second one will be dropping. What is imputation? Imputation is like you are giving some another value instead of null value. You can replace some random value. You cannot actually go with random, but you have to give some value which will be proper. So there are some advanced tasks techniques in sklearn, but here in imputation you can go like basic things. So how to fill the null value? If you want to fill that, you can go with .fillNA, and this capital X is the value which you are passing will be stored in that null value place. And if you want to change it entirely, you can go with in place equal to true. See here, Titanic, okay, .fillNA if I pass some value here, for example 70 in the age column, let me fill. See here, in age column there is 177 null value, right? So I'll go with age and fill the null value with, for example, I'll fill it to 30 and in place equal to true. So this column, now if I check for null value, see here, the age is 0 now because there is no null value. If you go and find it, okay, wherever there is null value present in the data set, now in that age column 30 will be replaced. Okay, that's the idea behind this. Okay, if you find 30 in this, it is a null value, it is replaced. Okay, so instead of going like randomly, you cannot give 30, right? It may or may not be proper. So what you can actually do is, you can go and take the mean value of that column or median value or mode value, which is most repeating one, and pass it in this place so that that can be replaced, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the average value of the age and I'm going to store it. I'll take this one. In the place, I'm going to paste it dot mean. So this mean will give me the average age. This is dot actually, comma, sorry. So if I run this, okay, so what is the mean value? That value will be replaced in the place of null values. Okay, it is 29.75, it is there, now will be replaced. So based on the requirement you can pass it. Or instead there is another option, which is the dropping the null value. So when will you go for imputation, when will you go for dropping? For example, in machine learning the data is very important. You are having 10,000 data, 10,000 row, and if you are having 100 to 200 null value, then you can actually remove it because you will be left with 9,800, right? So it won't be any issue if you drop that. Okay, so if you are having some less amount of data only, but you cannot drop it in that sense, in that case we can go with handling the null value, you can impute it. Okay, if you want to drop it, you can go with dataset.drop NA. See here, it will actually remove that entire row where the null value is present. See here we are having 687, right? So what I'm going to do, Titanic dot drop NA in place equal to true. So if I go and check with the null value, see here it is 0 because all the rows which had null value is removed. Okay, clear? So if you want to check for duplicate value, then you can go with dataset.duplicated. So it will give you a boolean. So based on the requirement, you have to go with mean or median or mode. Based on the dataset you are handling, based on the column, you have to do it. For checking the duplicate value, you can go with dot duplicated. So it will give you a boolean. For summing it, you can go with dot sum. And if you want to remove those, you can go with drop underscore duplicates. And if you set that in place equal to true, the duplicate rows will be removed. Okay. Titanic dot duplicated. Okay, it is false, false, true, like that. So I'll go with sum. It is 0, there is no duplicate value, but if you have, you can go with drop underscore duplicates. Okay guys, so we have to see this date format and correlation. We'll see it in tomorrow's class. Okay, so it's almost time. So in tomorrow's class we'll continue with pandas to complete this date format. How will you change it, and going with correlation, how to find the correlation. And then we are planning to do exploratory data analysis, which is based on real world sales data analysis with pandas, and we are having some tasks. We'll do it tomorrow and continue with NumPy. Okay, so that's it guys, thank you.